there shall you see him, as he said unto you. There's a tradition. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is tradition. I can't prove it scripturally, but I'll give it to you as tradition. There is a tradition that when Mark wrote his gospel, and Peter stood right there over his shoulder and kind of, how would you say it, advised him. In plain words, the idea is that when Mark wrote the Gospel of Mark, Peter said, I want that in there. I want it in there about what I did, about how I denied him, about how I turned my back on him. I want that in there. Would you put that in there and make sure that you tell them, and Peter. I want you to understand, and Peter. I like those words, and Peter. Now that's tradition. Don't hold me to it. I can't prove it. And I'm not absolutely certain I believe it. But it's tradition. I've read it. I read a lot of stuff. I read a lot of stuff and I think about it and contemplate it and mull it over in my mind.
The views, opinions, positions, or strategies expressed on WLAF TV 12 do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, ownership, or advertisers of WLAF TV 12, 1450 WLAF Radio, FM 100.9, or 1450WLAF.com.
When every second counts, count on Vital Care MedTrans. You do have a choice when it comes to ambulance service in this area. So when you call 911, ask for the best.
Wait a minute, are you Vital Care?
Yes, we are.
Good.
State-of-the-art equipment and a well-trained staff who stand ready to respond to your call. That's Vital Care MedTrans, when nothing but the best will do.
Are we on, Honeybee? Thank you, Honeybee. Welcome to the show tonight. Hopefully we're going to have a good time. We'll kind of play it by ear, whatever you want to talk about. There's a couple of things I want to talk about, really not much. Me and Honeybee was discussing it before the show. There's just not a lot going on. There's just not. I appreciate if you remember. You need something? Okay, I thought Honeybee was wanting something. I appreciate if you remember Vital Care, if you need an ambulance service. Nice and warm in them things because it's getting cold out. Nice and warm in them ambulances. They'll keep you good and warm. Everything be just fine. So remember them. I've talked to, like I said, I've talked to some of their customers that are patients, wherever you call them, that won't go any other way. You know, when they need something, they call Vital Care. So if you got the numbers right there behind me, if you call 911, just ask for Vital Care, and they'll take care of you. I was down at Riggs Drugs today, and something important about Riggs Drugs. I was down there today. The insurance guy that had been there trying to help folks out, especially the folks, the United Healthcare, Medicaid, Medicare, whatever that that whole mess was that some of you are going to lose it. He actually said because of the work that Riggs Drugs did, some of the work that we did here on the show, did a great job of, especially Riggs Drugs did a great job of trying to help folks out and get people in there so they didn't lose insurance. He said, unfortunately, a lot of people still lost their insurance, and he's still working down there trying to help you folks at Riggs Drugs. So get down there. You're on the air.
Terry,
Yes.
you need to move your camera in a little bit closer. You're kind of dark.
Am I? Maybe I need to move the light.
You're far away, too.
Am I? Okay. So that's the Honeybee. I think she set it up so that you can see the signs. We tried to do the signs a little differently because to just the huh?
The signs look like the top of them are cut off. You're back too far.
Okay. Well, Honeybee, thank you. I'll go over here and move the light, and hopefully that'll change things a little bit. So, but anyway, the insurance agent down at Riggs Drugs is still down there trying to help some of you folks because he said, unfortunately, some of the folks didn't get in and they did lose their insurance. So those guys are still down there trying to help you folks out to get you back under insurance coverage, the ones that lost it. Or if you have any general insurance questions, they're still there. So go down there or call down there and make an appointment. They're still there to help you. So another thing I want to mention, let me find this. Friday, January the 8th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the East La Follette Community Center, the Coats for the Cold giveaway is happening. Okay? If somebody out there is watching that's part of this, if you want to call in and talk about it a little bit, be glad for you to do that. But they've took up a bunch of coats, which is necessary. You know, some folks just can't afford them. Friday, January 8th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the East La Follette Community Center. I'm wondering, is that the old East La Follette School? The community center, is that something else? So, but 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Friday, the Coats for the Cold giveaway. Okay. Another thing that I like to talk about is we're coming into, and this is discussion, folks, right here. We're coming into what I like to call the second best time of the year. Okay. Sometimes it's my favorite time of the year, but Christmas is obviously the best time of the year. Celebrating Christ's birthday, being with your family and all that. But election season is coming up. Okay, it's time to start gearing up for elections. I mean, the presidential campaign's been going on for 6 or 8 months already, but locally, Friday is the first day to issue, the election commission is going to issue petitions for people that want to run. And I think locally all we have going, 5 seats on the school board. Our road superintendent is up, our property assessor, our state representative, and I think our state senator. And then in November, there's going to be some elections in La Follette and in Caryville. Okay, so I'd like to hear from some of you folks to let us know who you would like to see run for whichever office you think you'd like to see somebody run for. Okay, they're going to start issuing petitions Friday. So that's going to kick off the local. You'll see, I'd say probably the end of April, and somebody might get a jump on it. We're going to start seeing signs go up. There'll be signs everywhere. It won't be as bad as it was, 2 years ago at this time, because all the county commissioners are not running, all the fee offices are not running. It's just a limited election this time. But I would say there'll still be a bunch of signs go up for people that's running for some of these seats. Okay, I'm not sure. I should have checked. I'm not sure which seats are up in which district. I see the first district on the school board. I think that would be Danny Wilson's seat is up. So either Danny will be running for re-election, maybe somebody will be running against him. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. The second district, who would that be? That's I think that would be Homer Rutherford's seat is up. I think. Okay. The third district, I believe Johnny Burgess' seat is up. I'm trying to figure this off the top of my head, folks. I didn't find this out today, so if I make a mistake, you're welcome to correct me. The fourth district, I know that Mike Orick's seat is up, and I'm pretty sure Mike has told me he's going to run again. And the fifth district, I think that would be Sarge Collins' seat is up this time. I haven't talked to Sarge, so I don't know whether he's going to run again or not. Our property assessor, I know Brandon Parton's going to run again. I don't see any reason why, I've made this statement on here before. I don't see any reason why I won't be supporting Brandon Parton for reelection. Our road superintendent seat is up. That'd be Mr. Dilbeck. It's actually his first election. Mr. Dilbeck's looked like he's done a fine job to me. Been a couple of things we've disagreed on, but that's just going to happen. When you've got a limited budget like Mr. Dilbeck's got, and it's a very limited budget, folks, you can only do so much. I mean, that's just a fact. You can only do so much, and I've met with Mr. Dilbeck and talked to him. He's tried his best to stretch the limited funds that he's got to do the most work that he can possibly do. But with the limited budget he's got, it'll never be enough. That's just a fact. It will never be enough to do what needs to be done in our county unless the county commission, were to give the road superintendent more money to do, more roads than what they're given. It's just not enough, So, let's see. You're on the air.
I was wondering when they're going to have the county commission election, so we can get our full-time employees back in there.
So you can get full-time employees back in there?
Yeah.
Are you wanting to put them back in, or you want to get some new ones? Hello?
Some new ones.
Oh, you want to get some new ones?
Yeah, we need some new ones in there.
Well, I'm in agreement with you on that. We need some new ones in there.
It ain't working, so we might as well try something new.
Yeah, this definitely ain't working after two major tax increases. The shame about it is 2 major tax increases in years back to back, and not a dime of that money, not a dime of it went to our school system. But that's 2 years down the road. They've got 2 more years.
Unfortunately.
You're right, unfortunately.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You're on the air.
Yeah, hey, Dre, I was just wondering, have you been in this dollar store up next to Food Line? I'm telling you what, you can't hardly get through there. They've got it's so unorganized. I just wonder what's happening to these stores. You can get through the pathways or nothing. They've got half time. They got them blocked.
Have you talked to the manager about it?
I don't even know who the manager is down there.
I don't know what now. Food Line, is that the one up the valley?
Yeah.
Food City's down at Food Line up the valley. I don't get up that way. We've got a pretty nice store down there where we live down in Caryville.
Yeah.
We've got a pretty nice store down there, and that's we've got 2 right there. We got one in Jacksboro and one in Caryville. Is where we go when my wife goes, and the only time I don't go in there with her very often, but the only time I've been in there and had an issue was when they were stocking the shelves. When they're stocking them shelves, you can't hardly get through.
Well, that's what I thought.
So
I didn't know it took a week to stock it, and it's just right there in the same spot.
yeah, so they're pretty good stores.
Yeah.
So, but just talk to the manager and say, hey, you need a little more space. And look at me, I need a lot of space to get through there.
Yeah, well, I'm like you, Tree. I gotta turn sideways a lot of times.
So we need extra space getting down them aisles.
Yes, sir.
So there you go. Hey, you looking forward to the elections coming up?
Oh yeah.
So you got any ideas which way you want to go?
Trey, I know one thing. They're going to have to be a change made in Campbell County, buddy.
Well, unfortunately, now it's like that last caller said. County Commission, they've got 2.5 more years.
Oh yeah.
None of that's up at this point in time. So the only thing that's up now are 5 seats on the school board,
Yeah.
the property assessor, road superintendent, and our state representative, which I am 100% for getting rid of. That's just he's a Republican operative is all he is. He don't care the first thing about Campbell County.
Who's that now?
Dennis Powers.
Oh yeah.
All he cares about is how he can please the Republican Party in Nashville.
That's right.
I mean, he's been down there almost 6 years now, and what has he done? He ain't done a thing. The only thing he did The only thing he took credit for is bringing the electric chair back for the death penalty. And shortly after that got passed, one of the court system ruled it was illegal and threw it out. You know, so that didn't serve any purpose. He wasted a lot of state taxpayer dollars on that. And Ken Yeager, he's just the same. Get rid of him, get him out of there.
Yeah.
They ain't neither one of them doing anything for Campbell County.
How long is it before we can vote to give them county mayors?
That's 2 years, 2.5 years.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, have you seen anything that he's made a move to sort of help out a little bit or not?
I don't know, you have to call down there. If you call down there, they'll tell you he's in a meeting.
I know that.
He's in a meeting, that's all.
Yeah, you can't get to talk to him.
That's all they'll do. They'll tell you, he's in a meeting.
And his assistant, he ain't never there.
Well, if you call them, they'll tell you they don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
You know,
That makes it honest to goodness that we just don't know where he's at.
that's it. They'll tell you that we don't know where he's at. That's a standard answer, okay?
But we need to do something.
Unfortunately, it's 2.5 more years.
Yep.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, thank you.
You're on the air.
Jerry, I just wanted to clarify myself and say that we can't handle another term with our county commissioners. Like E.L. Morton said, we need to go in another direction.
Yeah, that's his standard answer, isn't it?
Yeah, if we go then again, that would be like if we had Obama for president another term. I don't think that we can handle it as a county.
Well, I can be sure. I'll assure you that come the next county commission election, we're going to be sitting here and we're going to be making sure you understand who voted for these tax increases and who voted themselves that really nice insurance package. Okay. Some of them cats has got an $18,000 a year insurance benefit, okay, for being full-time employees, okay? I've talked to a lot of people recently, because I don't know if you know about, I don't know what your health insurance situation, but health insurance is awful around the world. But now these folks down here, and I'm going to get a copy of their plan before next week. As far as I know, their plan's a Cadillac plan compared to what the rest of the world's getting.
I work every day of my life, 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts, and I really wish I had that insurance.
Oh, I'd love to have the insurance they got and pay what they pay to have it.
That averages out around $500 an hour, and that's insane.
That's insane. I agree with you.
That's completely uncalled for and unneeded.
And with the next election, we're going to point it out to you who voted themselves that health insurance.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You're on the air.
Now, Jerry, you know that Andy is busy getting EL's flights booked up across the globe.
To go to Germany and Japan.
He's on that government. He got that government plane. He gonna take all them trips. So this new year is a promising year. And
Well, I was in EL's office last February. Okay. And I asked him, I said, when are you going on this? He said, my name's on the list.
so the on the list now.
This was last February now. He said, the next opening they have going to Germany, he said, I get to go. I guess it's been a long time. There ain't been no openings yet.
So, well, maybe this is the year.
But I appreciate the fact that our county mayor gets to fly around the world free and being a retired military veteran, I have no issue with that. Not one bit do I have an issue with that, okay?
No, I don't either.
But use it.
It should have been used in his previous job.
It should have been used already, so.
Exactly,
It
sure should have. And listen, I grew up with him, and both of them fellas went to school with them, and they fine fellas. I mean, you wouldn't want a better neighbor than either one of them fellas.
Oh, I think the world of both of them, personally and individually. No question about it.
I know more about that insurance because I'm running for office. If it hurt ladies I'm running for office and I want that insurance.
Oh, you want that $18,000 insurance policy?
Exactly. I do not want to hear no more about them insurance. If folks need that insurance, I'm a running. If it takes every nickel I got to buy every vote, I'm going to every graveyard. Get them all. I'm going to have the biggest turnout that we've had in Campbell County in the last 40 years.
Well, now you sound like a Democrat now, because that's where they.
Oh, Lord, no, ain't no Democrat.
No, that's what. But that's where they get their votes, is in the graveyards.
Yeah, some of us Republicans have been known to do it every now and then.
Okay.
So don't you talk about the insurance. You leave the insurance and Jeff Marlowe alone, and me and you'll get along just fine.
Jeff Marlowe, we ain't got no issues. Jeff Marlowe's just fine.
You have a good evening, my friend.
Thank you, buddy.
See you now.
You're on the air.
Yeah, does anybody on there know anything about what's going to go on down A&S empty building down there?
Well, the last I talked to the mayor, or heard the mayor, and we discussed it after a county commission meeting. He's allegedly talking to somebody to move into there. Now, that's been a month and a half ago, and I'll tell you how those things work, and I know this is how it works. When they're talking to a prospective business, if they are, who knows if they are? He says they are, but I mean, sometimes you don't know. But if they are talking to a prospective business, that business generally will not want you to divulge their name until they've got a contract and it's a done deal, they're going in there, okay? Now, I did hear that we lost out on one business that wanted to go in there, and this may have been the one that he was talking to, because we didn't want to give them any tax incentives to move in there. Now, I don't know where that came from, but I heard that. I don't know, who supposedly denied them tax incentives and all that, because before county commission, I've never heard the county commission discuss that issue, because, that's just the way of the world now. If you're going to move a business in, you're going to have to give them tax incentives and all kinds of incentives to move in. If I remember right, before Lowe's moved in here, the city of La Follette gave them 5 years worth of tax credit or something to that effect, and helped them out with some water coming to the building or something. I don't remember the whole thing, but the city of La Follette, gave in to some of the demands that they had to get them to move in here. Well, they moved in. There's been good paying jobs up there. It's good. It's good for the community. It's good for the whole county. There's not a thing wrong with doing that, and it's just the way of the world, because other counties, I assure you, are offering tax incentives for business to come to their place, so we have to do the same. And I was told that somebody refused to do that at A&S Steel, and one prospective business person decided not to come.
Yeah.
So, but why that happened, I don't know, because I don't recollect that ever being discussed at county commission.
Yeah.
So, those things really, you don't know what's going on until it happens, simply because the business does not want you talking about it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You're on the air.
Hey, Drew, that same thing happened to that ammunition thing up there. That's how it come out court to get it.
Right. I had heard that. I don't know a lot about that.
I don't know either, but I was talking with my cousin over there that lives over, and he said that they got a good break on it, and said...
you have to do it. It's that simple. You have to do it.
Jerry, can you just imagine what kind of job that would be? And I think he told me it was between 4 to 5, either 450 to 600 jobs, up front. And when it got all worked down, I think he's going to be 400 permanent jobs.
Yeah, I mean, if if that's the case, something like that, we ought to be giving them the land to put a building on.
Yeah.
We ought to give it to them. And whatever else we have to do within reason. There's limitations, okay? But you need to be saying, what can I do for you to get you here?
Yeah.
Because
90% of it is up above minimum wage jobs. Roy said over.
Yeah. Well, and you stay there a while. I don't care what if you're at a factory or whatever, if you stay there a while, there's opportunities to advance.
Oh my goodness.
You know, if you do a good enough job, there's opportunities to advance. Now, if you're just a common line worker and that's all you ever aspire to be, and you work like that's how you aspire to be, that's what you're going to be.
That's right.
But if you get in there and you do a good job and you push yourself and you show some initiative, you can advance. I don't care what kind of business you're in, you can advance.
Yeah.
You know, so, but.
I don't know what other job it was, but he said, told me, he said that they said we've got another one that Campbell County didn't get on account of tax purpose. But he said, I don't know exactly how it went about or anything like that. And he said, I don't know exactly which one it was. But he said, we've got another one coming right next. Well, it'll be pretty close to Airport Highway, but I keep thinking the one on the opposite side there.
Yeah. Well, I know, is it Thermador? The last time I talked to somebody at Thermador, they're looking to expand.
Yeah.
And good for them, you know. So, hopefully we'll get some people around here doing something. It doesn't appear right now that anything's happening.
We need somebody to do some negotiating. I'm telling you, that mayor just don't do it. I mean, he don't cut it.
And, well, we don't know what he's doing because he's always in a meeting.
Yeah.
Just call down there tomorrow. I promise you, they'll tell you he's in a meeting.
I'm telling you, the county commissioners, they ought to help some to get some of this started on there and get the mayor moving or something.
Now, they have no control over the mayor whatsoever.
I know it.
It's
Well,
none. So, I got another call, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
Thank you, man.
Thanks.
You're on the air.
I'm going to leave you alone after this one because I did hear a couple of them rumors too. But first of all, the commission, we've never had one that would ever offer tax incentives. You know, and you got to have good ones to get good jobs.
Yeah.
And get good companies. But the other is that somebody was looking to put a cab company down there in the A&S building. They're going to employ up to people. They got 2 part-times and 1 full-time job going to be opening in that building down there.
A cab company?
A cab company. We're going to try. EL's going to.
You mean taxis?
EL's going to fly from down to, I think it's Lenore City, and there's going to be a cab company come in there, and they're going to hire 2 part-time people and 1 full-time position. So in that building down there.
To drive taxis or to make cabs?
No. We're going to drive taxis. We're going to kind of like a Uber.
Oh, okay.
But to occupy that big building down there.
Now, I haven't heard that at all.
So we've got 2 part-times and a full-time that might be in there that's going to help our taxes here.
Well, if that's the case, they're going to pay an awful lot of rent.
That's aggravation, brother. I'll leave you alone.
Okay, thank you, man. Yeah, I'm glad he confirmed that was a joke, because that's that certainly I ain't heard anything like that. So, but anyway, let's get back to the wrong thing. Let's get back to the upcoming elections. Okay, the Friday, like I say, Friday is the first day for anybody that wants to run for office locally to pick up petitions. Okay, locally, to pick up petitions is Friday. Okay, the election is going to be on August the 4th. And then when you have your state elections, that's your state representative, I'm pretty sure the state senator is up, and I'm for changing both of them. Neither one of them have been any good for Campbell County. Both of them, if the Republican Party calls them, Mr. Powers will stand, how high do I need to jump and when do I need to be there? Not a thing done for Campbell County, not a thing. Unless somebody wants to call in here and explain to me what he's done for Campbell County, I've never seen anything. So, the November elections, of course, we'll have the presidential election then, but we'll also have elections in La Follette, and I think, somebody tell me if I'm wrong, I think the mayor's seat is up, and 2 of the council members. And then I think also in Caryville, the mayor's seat is up, and I can assure you, those folks down there are ready to get a new mayor. There's just no question about that. And if that mayor gets reelected, I would be just totally shocked. Okay, and 3 council members. Let's see what we got. You're on the air.
Hey, in that upcoming election next year, there's one person I'd like.
This coming year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2016.
We're in 2016.
Yeah, this coming year.
This year.
Did I say next year?
You said next year.
Well, hey, when you get my age, you lose track of time. It goes so fast.
Well, you're so old, most people don't get your age, do they?
But this year, the 3rd District School Board member that's up for re-election, I pray that he runs again.
Now, who is that?
Johnny Bird.
Okay, I thought Johnny's seat was up this time.
Johnny is one of the best school board members we've ever had. And I want to tell you something else. He has been recreation director here in La Follette for several years now.
He's done a fine job.
He has done more for these kids than any recreation director I think we've ever had. He puts the kids first, and he does a good job. And he supports education. He understands education. He really knows what's going on in the inner workings of our public school system, and he is absolutely the best. Now, Johnny's a Democrat. I've been a lifelong Republican, but Johnny is an old-time Democrat that still believes in Christian values, unlike Hillary and Obama and that bunch.
Right.
He believes in Christian values. He believes in gun ownership. He's a good conservative Democrat.
Right.
And if he were to run, I would be like a Reagan. Remember they used to refer to him as a Reagan Democrat?
Yeah.
I'd be a Bird's Republican.
Okay.
He's a fine Christian man, and he's done more for public service. He has really done a great job. And I would like to either see him stay on that school board or see him run for state representative or state senator. He'd make a great one.
Yeah.
And
well, I know there's been people talk to Johnny about running for other offices, and I really haven't talked to Johnny a couple of times, not a lot, but from what I understand, and again, if I'm wrong, somebody call and correct me. Johnny likes being on the school board. He likes having the input that he has on the school board, and it's my understanding that's where he's going to continue to run, is at the school board level. Now, I do know there have been other people that have approached him, including myself, about running for different offices, and if
he don't espouse to higher office, I pray he stays on that school board. Because, it's rare that we get somebody of his quality in office. And we got to at least keep him there.
Yeah.
And don't let him retire and go fishing.
But he ain't going to retire.
Okay, wonderful.
Hey, I've got another call, but I want you to call back in a minute. I want you to, the Obama's gun law that he's getting ready to do, whatever he's done.
Yeah.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, I would rather a friend of mine call in about that because he's always more up on it than I am.
Well, have him call because I want to talk about that a few minutes.
Yeah, he'd be the ideal one to call.
Okay.
I'll see if I can get a hold of him.
Tell him to give me a call because I want to talk about that a few minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
You're on the air.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Turn your TV down.
TV's down.
Okay.
Want you to take about 5 minutes, Jerry, and explain to the people out there what anybody, like a state can be done for this county, Jerry? You explain it to the people out here. What can anybody do this county? Nobody can do nothing. There's nothing that's ever been done for this county, and it's not capable of doing anything. Nothing capable of being done.
I don't know that I agree with you on that.
Well, just give us some, Jerry. Just give us some.
Well, I'm gonna give you my first. When you say that, the first thing.
From Campbell County.
Okay, when you say that, the first thing I think of, the very first thing I think of, okay, is other than I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, when the county commission, because of something that happened on the state level, had to put a few extra dollars, but they only put the minimum that they had to put in to the school system. Was the only time they put any extra money in the school system other than the maintenance of effort, okay? For 12 or 13 years in a row, we've done the maintenance of effort for the school system, as far as I know, except for that 1 year, and it's only because they had to make up something that the state didn't give, and they had to make it up. So they gave a little extra that time, okay? We're on the county level, we are not, this is my opinion, okay? We are not investing in our kids' future in education in this county to the level that it needs to be invested in, okay? Is that because they can't, they won't? I don't know. But all I know is, like I said earlier, the last 2 years, and I think I know who this is, you know exactly what I'm saying, the last 2 years, we've had 2 of the largest tax increases that we've ever had in this county. And as far as I know, not one extra dime went to the school system to help improve education in this county. They've been operating on a shoestring budget as far as when you compare it to other counties or wherever you want to do it. But when you operate on the maintenance of effort for 13, 14 years in a row, you're not telling your people, hey, we're investing in your county, in your kids, so that the education gets better, we have better opportunities, and make no mistake about it, we have some brilliant kids go through here. Hey, we had, if you look at the top 10 list, I wish I had their names. I know the top graduate last year was Brooke Bain, Clinton Monica Bain's daughter, Brooke Bain. We've known them since she was a little bitty girl. Brilliant, brilliant girl, and could have went to school anywhere she wanted to go to, come out of Campbell County. Could have went anywhere she wanted to with scholarships. We had a top 10 list. The little lady, Lauren, goes to church with us. We have some great kids come through here, very well educated, okay? But you know as well as I do, there's a bunch on the bottom tier that, because we don't have the proper resources to catch those kids up, some of them don't get caught up, okay? And I'm gonna lay this out there. I'll bet you these top 10, 11, 12, 13 that I'm talking about, I'll bet you mom and dads had a lot of influence on their education when some of these other kids, mom and dads, we've said it before and you know what happens as well as I do. Mom and dads don't give a hoot. They don't pay attention. They don't care. They're not doing anything to help the kids, no support at all for their kids in school. But you look at these top graduates they have, I bet you every single one of them had great parental support as far as their education is concerned, okay? The 2 that I knew more of them, but I can only think of these 2 because I've known them really well. And I think there was another one actually that goes to my church.
Jerry, but the question was not about the school system. The question,
but your question was, my answer was the school.
You're asking any kid. Our school system is such that if any kid would wish to apply themselves, they can get an education in this county. I have seen them do it the same as you, and I could call some names. But my question to you was, these politicians that you're talking about, fixing to run for office, you tell me one thing and tell the people out there what they could do to help this county. It can't be helped
look at the curve up there across from our high school when we bring somebody in here with an industry. Take me to your high school. You look over on the high school, you see a nice high school. You look on your left, you see a garbage dump. They've tried to do something about that. LaFollette has. Nobody can do anything for this county because we don't elect the good officials. You could do something about that. You could form a committee for better elected officials in this county, and you could have people to join that organization, and you support them with work, and you support them with money if you're really interested. But just go ahead and take 5 minutes and tell what some of these officials could do for this county.
Well, my answer is just like I said. You start with the education. That's me. You start with the education, and we're just not investing in our education. That's my answer to your question.
I agree with you.
Okay, thank you.
I did think bye-bye.
So, it all starts, folks, with the education. And we all know this, and I'm not trying to degrade any child out there, but we all know every child is not on the same level. It's just not, okay? They're just not, okay? Some of the children that need a little help catching up, we don't have the resources to help them children. It's not the child's fault. It's our county commission's fault because they won't invest in our children. That's my opinion. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just have a question.
Okay.
I watch this show periodically.
Okay.
And there's never anything good about Campbell County. You never see your elected officials on TV.
I've had several of them on here.
Somebody calls them out and calls you, but why aren't they sitting up there?
I've had several of them on here.
They come to face with somebody on TV and say, what are they doing? I mean, I don't see any incentive to ever want to live here the way y'all talk about your community.
Well, I can tell you this: most of our elected officials, this is me again. This is my opinion. Most of our elected officials will not appear on a show like this because they don't want to sit here and take phone calls from the citizens asking them, "What are you doing? What are you going to do? How are you going to?" Because they don't have an answer. It's that simple. They don't have an answer. Okay.
How many people are in this county? Over 40,000?
I think 42, 43, something like that.
So 43,000 people sit back and watch this happen year after year after year?
Year after year after year, and reelect the same people over and over and over.
Wow, this is really sad.
And you're right, and it is really sad. And then, unfortunately, in some cases, when people get elected, it would seem like that they're in there for what it can do for them, not what they can do for the county.
Well, you can leave here and you can come back after a period of time and you can see just driving through the community, there's been nothing done here for kids. You can't go bowling, you can't watch TV, or you can't go to a movie, you have no skating rink, you have no Boys and Girls Club, you have no initiative to keep those kids off the street. If you do, you don't advertise it. It's pretty sad.
And there's nothing to advertise. And along the lines of what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
There's nothing to advertise.
Whoever does your community development.
Right.
So,
we don't have anybody doing community. We have an industrial development committee that hasn't met in years.
Well, why did the people of Campbell County put up with it?
I'd love to know the answer to that myself.
Well, how many people, if you've got 40,000 people, how many people are registered to vote in this county?
I don't know how many are registered to vote, but less than half of them go vote when there is an election. And I'm going to say this summer, when we have the election on August the 4th, because there's only 5 school board seats open, the road superintendent and the property assessor, probably I would be surprised if 40% of the registered voters go out and vote in that election.
Well, I just, you look around and you just think, wow, how can this be? Like you said, you try to call an official, you can't get through, they don't answer, they don't return calls, they're uninterested. I've done it myself, and it's very disheartening.
And I agree with you, it's very disheartening.
that you have government and you have people sitting in those chairs that will belly laugh you if you ask them a question. It's so unprofessional. It should be so unacceptable on so many levels. But I guess the people here just don't care. I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying
There's a lot of apathy. There's a lot of apathy. There is. Okay. We do this show. I do it, and my buddy does it every now and then. We do it just to try to let people know what's going on in the county. Okay.
Well, if I was one of your elected officials, you would think that they would want to come on the show to defend themselves.
No, they're not interested in doing that because they have to sit in front of the voters. Again, they don't want to sit here and take calls and have to answer to the voters what they're doing. I mean, think about there was 10 of them that voted themselves, and I've got their names. There was 10 of them that voted themselves this really nice health insurance package that I don't know how many people in the world have a package that good, but they voted themselves, and it caused the taxes to go up because of that vote. You think any one of them 10 want to come sit here and have to answer to the citizens why they voted themselves that health insurance? It ain't going to happen.
Well, I just think the citizens of this county should be a little bit more proactive and maybe do something about it, because it's pretty sad watching your show and hearing everything that y'all say. And I have to just, listen to the comments that are called in.
Yeah, and there's times that I try to do positive shows and just do nothing but a positive show. But I have to do a lot of research to find something positive going on. Now what you said about helping doing stuff for kids, we had a caller a little earlier that was bragging about Johnny Burge down in La Follette. I can tell you that it seems like they've always got something going on to get kids involved down there in the city of La Follette. And actually, when they do their basketball and baseball and whatever they do, I think there's kids from different parts of the county that actually come down there to play. It's not just La Follette kids.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that's just La Follette. Those kids, you said you didn't go to the Caryville dollar store. Well, those kids in Caryville, they probably can't get to La Follette.
Right.
And then again, there's the cost of getting into a program. Is it a free program?
I don't think it's free, but it doesn't cost that much.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it just doesn't cost. And they have a lot of kids participate. They have a lot. Because
it just seems to me that over the years that there could have been things in place, bowling alley, nice theater, things.
We had a theater and it left.
Yeah, I know that.
It left. It's unfortunate it left. And and while I agree with you, the part I disagree with, and I've said this before, it's not the government's job to entertain people. It's not the government's job to make sure there's a bowling alley. It's not the government's job to make sure there's a theater, because we had a theater, and apparently those folks felt like they weren't making money, or they'd still be there. Okay.
Well, if it would have been managed properly, it would have been there, and you might not have as much crack meth heads as you do in the town and fuel heads.
Yeah.
If you had somebody to manage facilities that were up and knew what they were doing.
Yeah. And I don't know why the theater left, but because me and my wife supported the theater. We went down there to movies on a regular basis. We go to Oak Ridge now when we want to go to a movie. We generally go to Tinseltown.
A lot of kids don't have that affordability to be able to go to Oak Ridge.
Right, and I agree with you. And I understand what you're saying.
So I'm just saying that over many, many years, God, come on.
Well, it's like I said, and this goes back to, it kind of ties into what I was saying a while ago. If you think about it, for the last 12 or 13 years, our county commission has been voting the maintenance of effort for our school system. I don't call that an investment. My understanding is the same thing in the sheriff's department, other departments. We've had Armani Bullock, our trustee, has called this show and said his employees have not had a raise in 9 years. This year will be 10 years. Okay? Because we're not investing in our people other than the benefit that they have. Some of the benefits they have, there's some investment there. But as far as investing in our people, we're just not doing it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's, seeing it from being not living here and not going to reside here, I think it's very disheartening. To see a community and to watch these shows on.
Well, and unfortunately, you know, we the last two county commission elections, you've had 10 and 11 people voted out of office or changed over in the county commission election the last two times, okay?
Yeah.
But nothing changes.
Yeah.
Nothing changes from commission to commission. Nothing changes, you know.
Well, hopefully the citizens of this county will step up and and start to vote and start realizing, you know, there's better out there.
Yeah, well, and then come the next election, like I told a caller earlier, I can assure you in 2 years, we're going to be sitting here making sure people know who voted for these tax increases, and even more importantly to me, who voted themselves this really nice health insurance plan that other citizens don't enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, other citizens are out here struggling to have health insurance, and the health insurance they got may not be adequate to take care of them. It may not be a very good plan, but our county commissioners saw fit, 10 of them, I think it's 10 of them, saw fit to vote themselves a really nice, what I call a Cadillac insurance plan to make sure they're covered.
Well, they must have a big job description then.
Oh, they call themselves full-time employees.
Their credentials must be really good.
They work 4 or 5 hours a month, and they call themselves full-time employees.
Excuse me, they work 45 hours a month?
4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours a month?
The county commissioners, yeah, they go to about 3 or 4 meetings a month, 4, 5, 6 hours at the most, and they call themselves full-time employees, and they enjoy the benefits. And this health insurance plan, I've got, you know, there's some of them that cost over $18,000 per commissioner. Not all together, but per commissioner.
I'd be ashamed if I were one of those people that put in 4 hours to earn that package.
Yeah. So they're not ashamed. They're tickled to have it because they voted themselves that package.
Yeah. Well, look around you. I guess that's why they're tickled.
You know, so they won't invest in our school system, but they sure did take advantage of the county dollars to get themselves that nice insurance policy.
Well, you can see that. You know, greed's everywhere.
Yeah.
People are only in it for themselves. You can look around, drive to Carrollville, drive to La Follette. There you go.
There you go. Thank you, ma'am.
Take care.
So, well, I appreciate that call. Let's see, we got, you're on the air.
Good evening, Mr. Chadwell.
Hey, buddy.
Well, you got a good show going.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
A lot of interesting things that would take a lot of time to dig into real deep.
Yeah.
I'd go a little further back as far as education is concerned. Our education problem, from what I've seen, is motivation. And this goes back to all sorts of things. You got to be motivated in order to do things.
Right.
And the more restrictions that government puts on, be that county or whatever you want to say, the less you're going to get individuals to go out here and take a risk. Now, the lady that just called there, I'll be a little facetious. We had bowling alleys, we've had, you name it, theaters and whatever, and the reason they go out of business is they make so much money. They get ashamed of it.
Is that what it is? Okay.
That's why A&S left, is they could make so much money here.
Yeah, okay.
Now, the whole, everything, the economy and everything, and you know as well as I do, turns around money.
Right.
Whether you can make a profit or not, that's what this American dream is.
Right.
Now, I can't, people can't identify with where I came from because I come up in a different world. I come up in a world where they can never show me anywhere where bouncing a ball would help me make a living. I was too short to be a basketball player or whatever else.
Right.
Anyhow, we're living in la-la land. We're not really thinking. We're not using our head. We're always dependent on somebody else. And whenever you go back into the school system, and this is our society, the school system will chastise an individual. You take somebody that don't join in, that don't bounce the ball and do everything else that back in, like I say, back years ago, when you got home, you had to do something. You didn't have to worry about whether the recreation center was open or whatever else because there wasn't no such.
Right.
Anyhow, people can't identify with that now. And whenever you talk about the American dream, the poorest person in this country right now has it better than the pharaohs did in Egypt. We can touch the world with this little device we got in our pocket.
Yeah.
We live in a controlled environment where we're never uncomfortable, and I hear this thing about hunger and whatever. It's very, very few people that I see. Now, let me distinguish between hunger, and malnutrition. There's very few people who are underfed. They may be hungry.
Yeah.
Hunger that's a kind of a learned type thing. But anyhow,
Okay.
that's my philosophy. You brought up guns earlier.
Yeah.
What would you want to discuss on that?
Well, I haven't read this whole thing, but from what I've understand, and you may disagree with me. If you do, that'd be fine. We'll have a debate about it.
I don't know whether I'm well enough informed.
Okay, but my understanding is this new initiative that President Obama, who I generally don't agree with on very much, but he's trying to make it more difficult for people to get a gun. He's trying to make sure everybody has to go through a background check. That's my understanding of it. I'm not sure what the whole thing's about, folks, but I'm one that's not against anybody. I think everybody that buys a gun, I don't care where you buy it at, should have to go through a background check before you buy that gun. That's just me.
You're talking about every time they buy the gun, right?
Anytime, I don't care how many times you buy a gun. If you go to buy a gun, you should have to have a background check.
On any type of gun now. You're talking.
I don't care what kind of gun it is. Okay.
Well,
But and any kind of weapon, anything, a weapon,
even a knife.
If I don't know how much knives are considered to be, but I mean, if you're going to go for one of these big exotic knives and all, I don't see a problem with it. I just don't see a problem with it.
What if your weapon of choice is a ball bat? Should it be registered too?
Well, I mean, ball bats are they're not generally considered to be weapons. They're not sold to be weapons. To me, a knife is sold to be a possibility of a weapon. Okay, that's just me. Okay, that's not. If people disagree, that's fine. That's just me. But if somebody's buying a gun, to me, that is certainly
that weapon. If you buy a gun, if you buy a shotgun, you buy that specifically to take somebody's life.
I didn't say that.
Well.
But it can be.
But it can be.
It can be. Okay.
But anyhow.
But that weapon, that gun, if you lay it on a table, it's going to lay there. It ain't going to get up and shoot nobody on its own. Okay.
That's correct.
And that's why I think, to me, a background check, if you check and see, if you do a background check and you see in their record it shows they've been in a mental hospital 1, 2, 3, or 4 times, I don't think that person ought to have a gun.
Okay. Now, you probably won't get nobody to argue with you on that point, but let me go a little further now.
Okay.
The problem I see is where you're getting a whole lot of kickback from the citizens is the fact that the president was willfully lied, and that's all there is to it, when he stated that anyone can walk right off the street, anybody go to anywhere and buy a weapon.
Okay. Now, I didn't hear that. I don't know,
He said that anybody can buy one off of the internet without a background check. He said you can go to any gun show or whatever and buy one. And that is not correct. Now, just the fact.
When you go to gun shows, and I've never been to a gun show, okay? Have you been?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you go to a gun show, if you've got a reputable dealer there and he's selling guns or whatever, if you walk, and I'm talking reputable dealers, I'm not talking, because somebody was telling me today, there are actually people walking around that have guns and all that, just walking around, and you can make a deal with one of them and walk out of there without anybody saying anything.
That's individual selling to individual. And see, now, here's where I'm coming from.
And see, I don't think that should be allowed.
Okay. Now, here's where we're going to get into these things.
Okay.
Whenever you're talking about that gun, next thing is registering all weapons. Now, would you see any problem with that?
The only thing that I think there should be a background check. Okay. Now, registering weapons. Okay. Here's my issue with that. Okay. If you have a gun that is your gun and it's registered to you, okay, and you sell that to me, okay, and I go out and shoot somebody with that gun, and the police take it, and they drag that registration back to you, that all of a sudden puts some burden back on you, the fact that I'm using your weapon.
Okay, then let's go, so let's follow that on back then. Whoever sold you that weapon, right on back to the manufacturer then would be held liable. If you just continue back on the...
Well, I mean, you can run that thing all the way down to who sold the scrap metal if you wanted to.
That's right.
But I don't think you can go that far with it. Once you purchase that gun should, the 100% of that responsibility should go to you.
Okay.
Unless there's something and the manufacturer is wrong with that gun.
Okay, I follow what you're saying there. But here's the time.
How much time we got, Honeybee? Honeybee says we got 10 seconds. Brother, call back next week and let's finish this conversation.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, folks. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week.